Oh my fucking hell. Mario Carter 13 says, did you corner the judge in the elevator or do you save that move for the ladies? I literally have no fucking idea what weird story this is. Cornering a judge in an elevator is not something I've ever done. So I'm not sure. There's not even an elevator in our courthouse. Or wait, there is an elevator. It's what the handicap people use sometimes. There's not an elevator that I would be in with a judge in our courthouse because, one, the judges don't walk around in the front court area. They wouldn't take the elevator that's there. And two, I just haven't been in an elevator with the judge since, I think, in law school. I might have been in an I was in the elevator in law school with the Minnesota Supreme Court Chief Justice, whatever her name was. I don't remember now. She's very nice. She's very kind, but I don't think that's what people are talking about. I'm not sure what story this is, but okay. The Kiwis will be very happy to know that I had to read up on my thread a little bit and I found something that was great because it's Kiwi Farms acting just like government. And I get to demonstrate that in this case and why it's so, why it's such a weird problem that comes up. And the one thing that's consistent in this life is if you point out something to someone, they get really angry about it. That goes for me too, right? Like I'm not even being critical here, but I tried to point this out to a former friend a while back, this symptom that the Kiwis have. And the farms has this problem. They don't realize that they do this all the time, but when they find themselves doing it, they then like explain it away after some mild argument, and then it just kind of disappears. But it's this phenomena of like insular telephone. And it's where something happens and then like a fact is created or completely wrong and then just gets adopted as the truth. And people run with it as the truth as if it were, and it becomes the truth. Kiwi Farms acts like they're very thorough and investigative and all this stuff, which is fine. Sometimes they are. Sometimes they're not. But what they always are is adding or omitting critical details that change or create out of nothing stories that become kind of official canon of internet retards. And the government does this too. And that's what was really interesting to me today was seeing the government do this. Do the exact same thing that Kiwi Farms did. And the only reason I can bring it up is because if you tell like anybody on the forum that they do this, they'll deny it like crazy. They're like, this never happens. And then there's like the one guy's like, guys, it kind of happens, all the time. But like we try and fix it. But if you try and tell them, they'll spur out about it until you can show them. Then when you show them, they're like, oh, well, this happened. Well, I mean, it's only this time. Okay, sure. But they take this thing and they create a fact that becomes a reality. And that reality then just persists on. That's happened in this case in a way that I can demonstrate through the hearing today. So it's something that I can bring to you guys that I don't think anybody else will be able to. But maybe they can. I don't know. I'm not watching their coverage. I wanted to do this because there's been this story floating around. This kind of came up the other day, and I actually, like I said, I saw this on Kiwi Farms, and it finally has kind of resolved itself, which is weird. People have accused me of confronting a judge. Actually, I believe they are accusing me of confronting that judge, Judge Fisher, in an elevator. I could safely say I don't recall ever being in an elevator with Judge Fisher, nor ever confronting Judge Fisher. But this is how this thing works. It's this insular telephone. Part of my falling out with Josh Moon from Kiwi Farms was trying to inform him of the insular telephone problem. I didn't have a witty name for it, but trying to inform him of the insular telephone problem on the farms, where a group of people will create something and they'll morph a set of ideas into something that didn't exist before, but it will become factual. And in this case, it's a story I told, actually, yes, about Judge Fisher. It was the last criminal case I represented. And after that case was over, after the sentencing was done, which my client got the guideline sentence, the judge was not willing to turn that many felonies into a stay of adjudication. Shucks. I was hoping for it. It was really unlikely. But after that, one of the things the judge had said while dressing down my client during sentencing, which is something judges do, they give a life lesson to the person who's about to go to prison. Because, like, I don't know, if I'm going to prison, right? If you're sentencing me and I'm going to go from the sentencing to prison, the last thing I'm thinking about, honestly, is like the heartfelt life lesson that the judge is giving me. That I'm not even trying to be rude. It's just not the thing that would be on my mind. But the judge is dressing down my client, and my client was charged with and pled guilty to stealing quite a large sum of money. And the judge took umbrage at one point with the idea that my client had paid for a private attorney. And, so judge had dressed her down for that. And the hearing was over, and my client was taken away. I was packing up my stuff. I was the last person in the courtroom. The judge re-entered the courtroom. Now, to be clear, I'm still at counsel table, and the judge is up at the bench. Like, I'm nowhere near this judge. When I just said, "Hey, judge, I didn't take a dime for the case. I did it for free." The judge seemed to be frustrated with my client for having the audacity to hire a private attorney while being accused of stealing money, which is not actually a proper criticism at all. But hey, but I informed the judge that I took the case pro bono. And she said, "Thanks for that." I don't know exactly what she meant by when she said thanks for that. I took it as kind of like I feel kind of like an asshole. Like that's the kind of feel I got. Like, oh, I guess I was kind of an asshole for saying that. Wasn't going to change her opinion. I mean, she gave her the guideline sentence, so I don't think there was much impact there. But I thought it was improper, and I let the judge know that I took the case pro bono. I wasn't paid for it. So yeah, that was that. But what happened was one person on Kiwi Farms, like a year after I told this story, created the detail that I confronted this, or that this happened in an elevator. And then it became that I confronted this judge in an elevator. And then the story on Kiwi Farms most recently is that, like, I aggressively confronted a judge in an elevator, because this sounds like a reasonable thing for an attorney to do, is to aggressively confront a judge in an elevator, especially when I'm like a larger man and the judge is a smaller woman, height wise. Like, we're talking about a pretty significant difference here. But the suggestion that I confronted this judge in an elevator and like aggressively berated her for this thing is fucking ludicrous. But this is people's headcanon on Kiwi Farms, like around me. Now, look, I'm not doing the thing where it's like, oh, Nick found this thing. He's gonna say that everything. No, it's just like, this is an example. This is an example of part of the problem that I was trying to tell Josh about, like a year and a half ago, before he started looking at Shota again, or whatever he does. You get this game of telephone where facts are created about people and they become the truth, according to the farms. You can't, like, there's no defense. People independently found it today after, I mean, I guess this story has been going on for a couple of years now. And I finally said, like, guys, I can recall one time being in an elevator with a judge. It wasn't that one. And I was in law school, and I was certainly not confrontational. It was quite friendly. So I'm not sure where this even fucking came from, but it turned out it was just one dummy on Kiwi Farms who just created the detail. And then And then he so belligerently insisted that it was the truth that it became the truth. And there was no one to check it. So this story came out. That's happened in this case in ways that are right here on the face of things and that pop up in observable ways. That's why I like the ability to see some of this stuff. And in this case, Miss Pierce has stated that drugs were out in the open. Those are not the facts alleged in the probable cause statement. They're just simply not the facts. But she's created facts that would create liability, not just for April potentially, but also for Kayla, because the statute is anyone in the room would have this presumptive possession. But the fact created by Miss Pierce isn't true. But she said it in court on the record. The question is, who's gonna prosecute her for it, right? Who's going to go after her for that? Is the state going to go after itself? And the same thing with Alicia Sweep. Alicia Sweep created the concept of a live-in nanny at the Rekieta household, something we've never had. It's never been a thing, actually. And these statements are impactful. They're material to the actual charging of crimes. And they also, of course, conveniently get spread to the public because part of the government machine of prosecution is to have these allegations go out. They exist in the public eye. So now I have people who believe that we had a live-in nanny. Actually, I have people who believe we had 2 live-in nannies who never had a live-in nanny. And that those contain... To put it lightly, those misstatements of fact not only have a legal impact on me, on my wife, on our nanny, they also have a social impact because people make certain determinations and judgments, and people think certain things about that situation. And the ability of the government to utilize these small misrepresentations is quite something, and it's fucking wildly damaging to your social status. I guess that's the word. I don't know how else to say it. I don't like that phrase, but I mean, people have drawn conclusions about that, but that's based entirely on a bastardization of what actually transpired. And it was probably someone's shorthand notes, probably wasn't nefarious, but you think they're mad about it? They're not. Fair warning, they're not mad about it. But this is the way it goes. And this is what I've been trying to kind of hint at for a little bit now. And now there's an opportunity because they've fucking done it. Like it's right there in the open. I can point it out, and it contradicts their own documentation. See, that's kind of the trick with the saying that this substance was out in the open. That contradicts their own documentation about the event, and it's their drafting of the complaint and then the recitation of facts on the record are 2 different things, and they mean legally different things. But that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying it's these little things that add up together. Those are the things that really start to, that's how these prosecutions occur. That's how people end up under the thumb of government for significant amounts of times. And someday I can tell you the story, but in our Child Protective Services case is full of those. Absolutely full of those. When we found the sources of some of the accusations, and we found out that the accusations were never actually accused, for example. Like they didn't actually make that accusation. Someone took a precautionary statement. Said, I was looking for this. Not that a thing occurred, but they were looking for this thing, and then they just determined that thing had happened, but it never did. and the way that they conduct their investigations and the way that they communicate with you or don't communicate with you, as it were, it makes it so that you don't even get to figure out the nature of where these claims come from. So you don't get to combat them at all. And some of them are really stupid and don't matter. And other ones are really stupid and really fucking matter. But they will take these half-truths, or they'll take a misread of a statement, and it just changes one word. The addition of live in to nanny changes the entire scope of the relationship with April or our former nanny, Cheney. Either of them being a live-in nanny is a completely different thing than someone who does not live at our house. Someone who shows up early in the morning and helps get our kids to school is different from someone who sleeps in the house. I don't know how else to describe that, but that was created by someone else. So it's I found this interesting for me. This is probably just my own, catharsis necessary for me, but it's to be able to demonstrate this thing that I've been talking about, where these it's not a big grand conspiracy. There's not like some Barnes. I love Barnes, right? But he talks about like Nick's a champion. He's out there. He's the loudest guy in the county criticizing government. Of course they're going to come after him, right? Like, I love that. It's great. It's great. I don't know if Barnes is right on that. I don't dabble in that world, but that's like the grand conspiracy. It's targeted, it's focused, and it really puts me up on some kind of pedestal. And I'm like, I don't see myself that way. I'm just a jackass who fucking goes online and drinks and like tells jokes and stories, and that turned into really pissing a bunch of people off. Sorry. But I don't see myself that way. Like, that's the way that Barnes describes it. When I'm talking about like what happens to all sorts of people all the time. This is not unique to me in any capacity, but it's these little twists or misreads or mishears, or a note is jotted down wrong. And then that becomes this insular game of telephone, and a story that didn't happen occurs. And then the problem is you have someone who needs to figure out, they have to solve the story. They have to solve the story, and it gets associated with your case, and things get to be just a fucking mess. And it's all because like you added the words live in, for example. In this case, there's a whole bunch of this. Our whole case is full of this shit. And someday I don't know. I'm gonna get one of those Vegas money hurricane machines. I'm gonna write down all the fucking fucked up facts that they have. Oh, I'm supposed to say that last. Messed up facts that they have on little pieces of paper, and it's going to blow around. You're just going to sit in there and grab them. That won't be any fun.